Hey there, everybody. It's Charlie. If you don't know who I am, I'm the church planting pastor of Capernaum Baptist Church, and I hope that you are having a fantastic Friday. This is for our pillarless people. This is for our supporters. This is for anyone generally interested in our ministry, and this is also for other future pastors or church planters just coming alongside and trying to see our progression through time. And maybe this will age really well. That's my goal. So today, I want to give you a what we've been up to update. Now, this year has been a long year. Some of you haven't heard from me or my church in a year. And for that, I am in some ways sorry. And in some ways, I think it was necessary because what we've been working on has been instrumental. Because had I talked about where we were between now and then, honestly, I think I would have been painting it in a light that wasn't dishonest, just was more exciting than it was, honestly. And I think we've just been in a spot where we've wanted to grow, we've wanted to develop, we've wanted to deepen ourselves, but there's been some groundwork that we needed to lay. And where we are right now is a result of that groundwork. And I think where we're going to go for sure needed that time of preparation. So for that, again, the delay I'm sorry for, but thank you for your patience. And I mean that to those of you on the pillar list who've been waiting to hear an update. Thank you. I appreciate you still thinking of us. I hope that you've been praying for us between now and last September. And those of you who've supported us between now and then, who have been praying for us now and then, again, thank you from the bottom of my heart and from our church's heart. I know that they appreciate this too. Today, I got 5 things that I'm going to walk you through that we've been up to over the last year. And then I want to give you a bonus little thing at the very end. And then on top of that, I want to give you up front this promise not to do videos necessarily every week or every month, but to do them as regularly as something important comes up. Okay, so I promise to do that. I promise to update you guys, to send out things, and to make sure that everyone knows what we're up to, because I don't believe in ministry without accountability, especially not ministries that take money and that take prayers. So your time's important. I promise I won't waste it. So let's jump in today. 5 things that we've been up to. Number 1 is kind of boring, and most of you are not going to think this is interesting, but the website update. The old website was ugly, if I'm being honest. It was just nasty, and I didn't like it. It wasn't very functional. I couldn't update things. I couldn't put things where they needed to be, and so I changed it. I redesigned the website and made it into the beautiful website I think it is today. It has far more functionality. It loads a lot faster. It's prettier, and it actually has a donate page, like a giving page now, because we can accept gifts and donations now, which is awesome. We'll talk about that in just a second. That's the first thing, website. Number 2 is maturing as a church. We have endured a lot of change this year. Some people have left. Some people have moved on. Some people have moved. And so we also changed locations early on this year. So I told you we were meeting in one house. We changed houses, and then actually we changed houses again. So we've just kind of been all over the place. Not the people who don't like us or anything. It's just a course of ministry. I think church planting is a lot about adaptability, and we have had to learn how to adapt. So in that way, we've matured as a church, but I also think that people have matured as a church. And more importantly, I think that people have grown together as a church. Where before we were many people coming together in fellowship for the same reason to come to church, it wasn't a church family. And Wednesday, as we were just praying together through the prayer requests, I thought to myself, this is a family. This is what church should look like. And I'm really thankful that God has brought us to that point, because it's been a long journey and there's been a lot of comers and goers. But who we have right now is here because they're called to be here. And I think it took some maturity and it took some time to get to that point. And now that I believe we are to that point, God can continue to grow us and make us who he wants us to be. So we set up a website. We matured as a church. Number 3, we've been setting up for support. Now, depending on when you're watching this, we will be or have already been accepting support. We did not have any way to collect payment. Again, I believe in accountability in ministry. And so we figured out a way to link up with our sending church, Open Door Baptist Church here in Denham. And so we can actually accept donations through them that goes to our bank account. I don't have the password to the bank account and everything like that. Like I can't just open up our books. And I think right now that is a good place for accountability, and there's no embezzlement. Like that's always a good thing. So anyway, we set up for support on our website so we can accept it, but then also infrastructurally, what I have been working on in a lot of ways is getting ready to send out things to supporters or to potential supporters. And then I've also been trying to get ready, like the systems and the conversations and the methods for how to do this. So the whole setup process in order to accept support isn't that hard, but I didn't just want it to be, hey, I'm a church planner in Louisiana, just give me money and then here's my website. Like I want there to be conversations like this. I want there to be an email base that can actually be sent out that looks nice. I want there to be, something that you can tell that there's ministry going on. And that some of that just takes planning and time and setup and creating YouTube channels and things like that. It's just kept me busy. So some of that. Number 4, organizing for the next year. Now, our goal is, and here's the big spoiler, our goal is to launch September 22nd of 2024, which leaves us just under a year. If you go on our website, you can see countdown, so how many days left we have. Between now and then, we have to get a building. We need to grow in our numbers. We need to reach more people. We need to start running ads. We need to promote more content. We need to invite people one-on-one. We need to go canvassing. We got a lot to do. And in order to do those things, certain things had to be done. For instance, to hand out flyers, you have to design flyers. In order to run ads, you have to set up a Facebook ads account. So there's just a lot of setup that had to be done. Again, infrastructure. This is a base layer so that you can build on top of it. And if anything's worth doing, it's worth doing well. So trying to make sure that all of this really worked together, that everything was set up, that's been important. Organizing for the next year. And then number 5 is creating outreach and retention strategies. Now, outreach obviously means that we're going to go try to get more people to come to our church. Then retention means that we're going to, once they come to our church, try to keep them in our church. Because what good is the gospel if it cannot be heard? And what good is hearing it one time if you reject it the first time when you could hear it more times? So that's our goal, is to retain people who come to our things. Now, this means that instead of just inviting them to a trunk or treat, for instance, since we're getting close to that in many churches, instead of just inviting them to the trunk or treat, what happens after that? What does the trunk or treat lead them to think, oh, I need to show up for that too? Because that sounds awesome. That sounds like something that would be perfect for us. And then once I get them from the first thing to the second thing, how can I ultimately get them into services or plugged into small groups or attending a Bible study or long-term retention here? So instead of taking a one-off event and trying to get everybody to come to my church services from that, you might have small returns with that. But with the amount of people that we're able to reach, 1% of 10 people is probably not going to change the world right now for us. However, if we can keep those 10 people coming to thing, then we are going to be able to retain them. And that is our goal, is to set up a retention strategy and to try to lead people from the first square of just knowing who we are to the last square of becoming part of who we are. Again, disciples making disciples. So we can do that, and we're going to be really good off. Part of that strategy has been creating online free content. And the reason for that is when someone opens up, well, you do this. Whenever you see an ad or if you see somebody's account and then you open up their account on Instagram or on Facebook and they have like 4 followers, you're probably not going to watch anything else that they have because nobody else trusts them, it seems like. So if we can build a follower base, then the number of followers that we have, although they might not live in Hammond, will make it easier for the people in Hammond to trust us when they see our thing. Does that make sense? And so when we do things in Hammond, which we have some awesome things planned, when we do things in Hammond, I want people to want to jump on because they see little things like a follower count that might matter to them. So trying to make it as easy for them to say yes and as hard for them to say no as we can. So website, maturing as a church, setting up for support, organizing for the new year, and creating outreach and retention strategies. And I told you that there'd be a bonus. In all of this, have been working on something to give out to people there in Hammond. If you go to our website, which should be linked down below, and you go to the resources, the free resources page, I actually have an infographic it's like a picture book for adults, and it shows you how to study the Bible a little bit better. It is completely free. You don't have to enter your email or anything. It's just something that I put together, and I gave it to my students. I taught through this several times in different settings, in multiple churches and in school. And so I think it's helpful. I think it's really cool too, and I'm pretty proud of it. Put a lot of effort into it. So hopefully it can help you. And if it doesn't, then okay. But at least it's there for you and it's totally free. So go check that out. Anyway, there's an update about who we are, what we're doing, what we've been up to. And I hope to see you again soon because I told you I'll update you whenever something awesome happens. And I hope that something awesome happens super soon. Until then, please be praying that God will provide for us a building and that God will provide for us donors, people who are willing to support us, who are willing to get behind what we're doing and help people in Hammond that I get to see with my own eyes that they might not ever meet. People who walk the same streets as I do and share the same lanes as I do, that they would become Christians through their dollars. So pray that more people would get behind that and that we would be able to influence more people for the kingdom. Till next time, see you guys.